What if the ending of Outlander isn't just emotional, but dangerous, forbidden, and quietly devastating? What if the final moments of Season 8 hide a truth the show has been carefully protecting for years? One sacrifice so deep that it changes how we see Jamie and Claire forever. If you think you're ready for a peaceful goodbye, think again. Because the ending of Outlander season May 8th already be hiding in plain sight. Season 8 does not begin like a farewell. It begins like a warning. The Revolutionary War may no longer be raging on distant battlefields, but it has followed Jamie and Claire back to Fraser's Ridge, and this time, there is nowhere left to run. Their home is no longer just a place of love and family, it is a target. New settlers arrive, old enemies resurface, and every choice Jamie and Claire make now carries a cost. The ridge has grown, but so has the danger around it. And the question haunting the entire season is simple but terrifying. What are they willing to lose to protect it? Jamie is no stranger to sacrifice. He has given his body, his freedom, and his blood for the people he loves. But Season 8 pushes him toward the one sacrifice he has always avoided, his life. The knowledge that he may die at the Battle of King's Mountain is not treated as a twist, but as a slow, crushing certainty. Jamie knows his fate, and yet he walks toward it anyway. Not because he wants to die, but because he refuses to let fear decide the future of his family. This quiet bravery makes every moment heavier. Every look, every word, every promise feels like it could be the last. Claire, on the other hand, is standing at the edge of something just as powerful. Her hair, nearly white now, is not just a sign of age. It is a sign of completion. For years, the story has hinted that her healing gift has limits. Season 8 suggests those limits are about to disappear. Claire is reaching the height of her wisdom, and with it, the full force of her ability. But power always comes with a price. The question is not whether she can save Jamie, but whether doing so will demand something irreversible from her. What makes this season especially painful is the emotional distance forced between them. Not because love is fading, but because love is too strong. They both know what is coming. They both feel the clock ticking. And instead of dramatic goodbyes, the show leans into silence, shared glances, unfinished sentences, moments that say more than words ever could. This is not a love story racing toward tragedy. It is a love story walking into it with open eyes. At the same time, cracks begin to form within the family itself. Secrets long buried refuse to stay hidden. Old decisions return with consequences no one expected. The ridge may look united from the outside, but inside, everyone is fighting their own private war. Jamie is trying to lead without letting fear show. Claire is trying to heal others while preparing to possibly lose the one person she cannot live without. And the rest of the family is caught between loyalty, truth, and survival. Season 8 makes one thing very clear early on. This ending will not be simple. It will not be clean. And it will not be free of pain. The war outside may decide the future of a nation, but the war inside Fraser's Ridge will decide the fate of its heart. And as the season moves closer to its final chapters, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Outlander is not asking how the story ends. It is asking what it costs to reach that ending at all. As Season 8 moves forward, the story becomes darker, quieter, and far more personal. The war outside Fraser's Ridge is loud and violent, but the real tension lives in what is unspoken. Jamie is carrying the knowledge of his own death like a shadow that never leaves him. He does not tell everyone. He does not panic. Instead, he prepares. He fixes things around the ridge. He gives advice where none is asked. He looks at his family as if he is memorizing them. This is not fear, it is acceptance. And that makes it unbearable to watch. Claire senses the change in him long before she fully understands it. She has lived through too many losses to ignore the signs. Her fear is not dramatic or explosive. It is controlled, almost frozen. Because if she allows herself to believe Jamie will die, she might not survive it. And yet, everything she has become, every year, every lesson, every wound, has been leading her to this moment. The season slowly reveals that Claire's healing power was never meant for small miracles. It was meant for one impossible choice. The battle itself is not portrayed as heroic or glorious. It is chaotic, brutal, and cruel. When Jamie falls, it does not feel like a twist. It feels like destiny finally catching up to him. The world does not stop. The war does not pause. And Claire is forced to face the one thing she has been running from since the beginning of the season, the moment where love alone is not enough. What happens next is not presented as magic, but as consequence. Claire does not simply bring Jamie back. She gives something up. The blue light, the power she has barely begun to understand, burns through her in a way that feels final. This act is not about defying death. It is about paying for life. And when Jamie breathes again, the relief is immediate, but it is not complete. Because Claire knows something has changed forever. From this moment on, the tone of the season shifts. Jamie survives, but survival is not the same as safety. He is alive, yet altered by the knowledge that he crossed a line and returned. Claire is stronger in one sense, but weaker in another. The cost of the healing has taken something from her. Whether it is her power, her future, or her connection to time itself is left deliberately unclear. What matters is this: love saved them, but love demanded payment. At the same time, another storyline begins to pull the family apart from a different direction. Lord John Grey's kidnapping is not just a political problem, it is deeply personal. For William, it becomes a breaking point. He is forced to turn to Jamie, the man he has spent years resisting, for help. Their journey to find John is filled with tension, resentment, and unspoken truth. But danger has a way of stripping people down to who they really are. As they face loss and uncertainty together, William finally sees Jamie not as a symbol of confusion, but as a man who would die, again, without hesitation for those he loves. This realization does not come with dramatic speeches. It comes in small moments of trust, of protection, of shared pain. By the time Lord John is found, something irreversible has happened between father and son. The distance that once defined them no longer exists. They are not perfect, but they are finally honest. Yet, even as relationships heal, old wounds begin to reopen. A name from the past refuses to stay buried: Faith. The child Jamie and Claire lost before they ever had the chance to know her. Clues scattered across the season begin to suggest something impossible: that Faith's story did not end the way Claire was told. Master Raymond's presence lingers like a ghost, and with it, the possibility that forgiveness has been delayed for a reason. By the end of this section of the story, one thing becomes painfully clear. Season 8 is not about shock value. It is about truth. And the closer Jamie and Claire get to peace, the more the past demands to be acknowledged. Because before the story can end, every secret must come into the light, even the ones that hurt the most. As Outlander Season 8 moves into its final chapters, the story slows down, not because the danger is gone, but because every remaining moment matters. The battles have been fought, lives have been changed, and the weight of everything Jamie and Claire have survived finally settles in. What remains is not chaos, but truth. And the most painful truths are always the ones we wait until the end to face. The mystery of Faith does not explode into the story. It quietly unfolds. Claire begins to understand that Master Raymond's guilt was never symbolic. It was personal. The possibility that Faith lived, even briefly, reshapes grief itself. It does not erase the pain of loss, but it gives it meaning. Faith's life, however short, mattered enough to ripple through generations. When Claire realizes that Fanny carries more than just a familiar song, she carries memory. Something inside her softens. Faith is gone, but she was not forgotten. And through Fanny, Jamie, and Claire are given something rare, not closure, but peace. This revelation does not bring joy in the traditional sense. It brings acceptance. Claire stops asking what could have been and starts honoring what was. Jamie, who has carried the silent guilt of not being able to protect his child, finally releases it. Together, they choose to love Fanny not as a replacement, but as a continuation. The past does not disappear. It transforms. Then comes the final unanswered question: the voice calling Claire Mrs. Fraser. The moment is brief, but its impact is enormous. The identity of the man is not treated as spectacle, but as destiny completing a circle. Claire is not meeting a stranger. She is meeting blood, a brother she never knew existed. His presence does not rewrite her past, but it explains it. The sense of being unanchored, the feeling that something was always missing. Time did not steal her family, it hid them. This reunion is not dramatic. It is quiet, restrained, and deeply human. There are no grand explanations, only shared understanding. And once again, Master Raymond's shadow looms, not as a villain, but as a guardian of fragile lives and terrible choices. His attempt to make amends is not forgiven easily, but it is acknowledged. Some sins cannot be erased. They can only be carried honestly. As the final episode approaches, Outlander does something unexpected. It lets go of urgency. There is no final war, no last-second escape through the stones. Instead, there is stillness. Jamie and Claire grow older together, not in montage, but in meaning. Wrinkles replace wounds. Routine replaces survival. And for the first time, love is allowed to exist without interruption. The ending does not promise eternity. It promises something far more powerful enough. Enough time. Enough forgiveness. Enough love. Jamie does not die a hero on a battlefield. Claire does not vanish into time. They stay. They live. And that choice, after everything, feels like the greatest victory of all. The final image is not about destiny or magic. It is about home. Fraser's Ridge stands not as a monument to war, but as proof of endurance. Every loss, every sacrifice, every impossible choice led here, to a place where love did not just survive history, it outlived it. And that is the leaked truth about the ending of Outlander Season 8. Not a tragedy, not a fairy tale, but a hard-earned peace, written in scars, memory, and the quiet certainty that some loves are strong enough to defy time itself. If this truly is goodbye, then Outlander ends the only way it ever could, by reminding us that love, when chosen again and again, becomes immortal.